This is the 2021 Volvo XC60 Recharge T8. And the recharge part of that name means this is a plug-in hybrid. And that raises two questions. Number one, if you're shopping for a compact luxury SUV, should you be thinking Volvo? And if you are thinking Volvo, should you be thinking about the hybrid? Let's find out. The XC60 is the Goldilocks of Volvo's SUV lineup. Below it sits the subcompact XC40, and above it is the large three-row XC90. So you might say this one is just the right size. You could also say it's just a jacked-up version of the V60 wagon. This is a luxury SUV. That means it has to compete against vehicles like the Acura RDX, the Audi Q5, the BMW X3, and the Mercedes-Benz GLC. Now those last three, the three Germans, they also sell plug-in hybrid versions of their compact SUVs. And just to single out the wonderfully named BMW X3 xDrive 30e, that thing can go 18 miles on pure electric. This can go 19. So they're all very similar except for one thing. The Volvo, curiously, is the most powerful. Even if you don't care about the plug-in hybrid part, you might buy an XC60 because of how good looking it is. Here's a couple features that stand out. I really like these little fangs here. I don't exactly know why they're there, but they look good, especially this view. The grill's great, Thor's hammer's great. The most fascinating part of the car design-wise is actually right here. On most SUVs, this would just be a big lump, but they've just done all these crazy lines that break the whole thing up, and it's almost an optical illusion. Plus, I love what they did for the fenders. So on most SUVs, right, you just slap some black plastic cladding on here. Oh, I can go off-road. Volvo knows you're not going off-road. This is a premium vehicle. So instead, they just hint at it with this nice subtle line. Looks good, and it breaks up a huge piece of metal. Smart design. This flap here, this is where you stick the charger. Gas tank's on the other side. Coming down the side, again, a big, large surface area. That's a problem with SUVs. What does Volvo do? Great line work. They chop it here, they chop it here. They have that beautiful piece of bright work running along the sill. Just an SUV all the way back, and then you get to those huge Volvo taillights, which they work on the wagons, they work here on the SUV. Again, Volvo's design language is second to none, and it's very hard to make a crossover SUV look good. Volvo has found a way. I'm coming to you from inside the XC60 Recharge T8, and this is a very nice interior for the most part. Let's concentrate on the very nice stuff. Great leather, wood, and metal, and crystal. That's right, the shifter is actually made from crystal. The wood, they call it wood deco. It's some sort of Scandinavian birch. I think it's beautiful. There's leather on most of the surfaces. There's still some hard plastic sticking out, but the competition, it's got the same stuff. As far as the touchscreen goes, it's a great touchscreen. What makes it a great touchscreen? It's accurate and it's quick, and that's really what you want from a touchscreen. As far as driver comfort goes, these are great seats, and I have plenty of space here. There is a lot of room for second row passengers, and if you flip the seats down, you have a lot of cargo storage as well, so you actually get some utility with this SUV. Now this is a high dollar trim, this is the Inscription, but might be the one you want to get because look how nice it is here. In terms of performance, on paper, the XC60 Recharge T8 looks great. 400 horsepower, 472 pound-feet of torque, and as I mentioned, it's much more powerful than the German. The BMW is 288 horsepower, Mercedes hybrid 315, and the Volvo 400. However, we got to put an asterisk there because the gasoline engine here makes 316 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and the electric motor supplies the rest. Now that gas motor, it only powers the front wheels. The electric motor only powers the rear wheels. So when you step on the accelerator pedal, there's actually a computer blending the two together. Because you have two drivetrains, it's heavy. So because of all-wheel drive acceleration, it's pretty good in a straight line, but when you start turning the wheel, it's an SUV, you feel the weight, and then you start to get torque steer on the front wheels because it's a lot of power just to put into two wheels. In terms of fuel economy, remember, this thing has 19 miles of pure electric driving. And you might say, well, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if your kid's daycare is 5 miles away, you're gonna make it there and back with half a battery left. Now, you take the 19 electric miles, you add them to the 27 miles per gallon combined this thing gets in normal driving, and that equals 57 mpge. Volvo has a well-earned reputation for safety. In fact, they have stated publicly that in the future, nobody will die because of a Volvo. Until that time, they're making their cars as safe as possible. This one, 5-star crash rating, top safety pick plus, and almost every active safety feature in the world comes standard. And plus, this has the optional pilot assist, which gives you features like low speed follow, which means it'll just use the radar to kind of follow the car in front of it. Imagine being stuck in traffic and the car just drives itself. It's a form of semi-autonomous driving. How cool is that? How safe is that? So what does it cost? Well, the least money you could spend on a Volvo XC60 is just under $43,000, and that would be for a front-wheel drive car. Should you want to get the plug-in hybrid version, the Recharge T8, that's gonna set you back nearly $55,000. And this one sitting right next to me is over $71,000. It has a lot of options. Let's go back to that almost $55,000 price. That is $2,000 to $3,000 more base price than the German competition. But as we know, the Volvo is much more powerful. If there's one thing I want you to know about the 2021 Volvo XC60 Recharge T8, it's that it's lovely. SUVs do not get better looking than this. Should you go for the plug-in hybrid? Should you get the Recharge? Maybe. It does make a lot of power, but again, it's more expensive than the German rivals. And then when you talk about 19 miles of pure electric, it's not a lot. To recap, gorgeous, great interior. For some people, 19 miles is plenty, and with the seats down, the interior really does give you a lot of utility. So rather than thinking it costs more than the Germans because it makes more power, pretend it costs more because it looks so good. To check out our latest vehicle rankings, go to motortrend.com/cars.